Okay, so oh, really, I could do that. Cool. All right. Oh shit, should be three? Mm, yes. Okay. We might need another table. I don't want to do that. All right. Um, just how much over this is just math. It's wild. You just need the right formula, and that's what we're trying to create. All right, so second line main console, let's put that top. This untitled document is the one we're working on right now. All right. We take these over to here because these would be the things we need to discuss. So here we have the different things we need to talk about and find agreement on. Here we write that on different perspectives and facts and ideas. So yeah, this is probably going to change format in terms of how it organizes. What the fuck? That's weird. Oh, yeah. Ah, so yeah, okay, I did. I don't know what I did there. Okay, valuing. Running into a formatting problem. Uh, get the message out. How? Okay, and then okay, then why? Want some shit on me? You want some dirt? It'll ruin me. I'm considering buying the Viewbox, but it's only if other things don't work first. And I full intend on, if I ever do it, to once again prominence to admit that I did it. And of course, I wish I didn't have to. They're right there. Person can using a double standard. My toxic nice bias in group person. He's great. He's amazing. He's a saint. He was always doing it for good reasons. There's nothing wrong there. And then the haters, people talking shit. See, he's a grifter. He doesn't even have good morals. Look at him. He's willing to lie. Like, that's a lie. Why would he do that? If he was a good person, he wouldn't lie. We just keep going through the same shit over and over. Okay. Um, so principles go before goals. Um, why is the why is it so weird? Damn. Imagine my friend Frank, who's written me these two poems previous time we disconnected, which we again recently disconnected, and I disconnected from the beginning. And these two poems, like, they're really putting me in a good light, talking really well about me. So praise in my room of judgment to the people closest to me. And imagine, and this hasn't happened, but imagine he says, I made those poems up. I was thinking about somebody else, and I was just putting you in there to make you feel good because you're such a lazy piece of shit, and like you can never do anything right, and like all these different things. This is the unresolved desire and ideological conflict that eats away at a person. So they don't want to be seen like this because they feel they're being judged unfairly. They feel the judgments that are coming from the person, from people close to them. They they take their actions seriously. They take their criticism and praise seriously to some degree. This is when a person has lots, just decades of so many relationships just constantly festering inside of them, of all this unresolved conflict between them and all of these other people in their lives about who they are as a person. People are constantly saying, why is everyone so sensitive? Or they're at least pointing out, look at all these people, they're so sensitive, they can't take a joke, they get upset really easily instead of conversations, instead of debates. Like, they get so fucking triggered. It's because of this. I want you to question me on everything, on all of it, especially this. Nowhere do we leave any stone unturned. Not turning stones is bias, it is lack of intellectual effort. That can always be a potential weakness that gives us a massive blind spot on understanding something, whatever it is. Whatever it is we aim to understand. And it is through this ability to formulate some better level of understanding of the reality around us, of who we are, of what is the better morality rule set, which always comes down to a cost benefit analysis that, hey, I'm seeing this is the right thing and this is the wrong thing because there's more benefit here. And I think there's way more harm on the other side. So I'm going to do this action. And this, when we're measuring this value system, this is the thing we haven't been able to do as human beings yet. We are so incredible in so many different ways, but on our ability to be able to have in-group and out-group debates over our own morality rule set. So whatever group you're a part of, the vast majority of them, no, all of them, absolutely all of them, and I'm not overstating them, all of them do not debate their own ideas. They will do so sometimes, very seldomly, in very niche circumstances. We can see that a lot of different Christians today went from overwhelmingly hate gay people and being against gay marriage to now being for gay marriage. That has changed. There are the Catholic Church and so many different Mormon, like, people are changing their minds, but it's very slow and arduous. And this is because we haven't figured out yet as humanity. So the problem, this right, this right here, who is the problem? Which group is it? Is it the left? Is it the right? Is it Marxist? Oh, it's always been Marxist, man. Look at every single time they ever get a hold of any nation, it just crumbles overnight. It's all definitely all the Marxists. Ah, no, it's the capitalists. We are The problem is humanity. The problem. What we're trying to, because We can go to any group of people right now. We can go to Donald Trump. I'll go to Donald Trump and I'll talk about all the different bad behaviors that he's doing. He's doing a lot of things that I actually really, really disagree with. I think I can very, very, very well prove I do not have Trump derangement syndrome because I understand what the fuck it is. But I'm not never saying don't question me on it. You think I have a bias? We'll go through that. But like even here on that, on Trump derangement syndrome, it's a fucking bias. Trump derangement syndrome is just the contempt bias of people doing really bad shit talk attacks in the because this always comes down to this big diagram I need to make, but it's the court of public opinion and private opinion. And this is where we're formulating our judgments of how good or bad anyone is. What are the good and bad behaviors we should or should not do? Are we supposed to judge, criticize, complain? What is cringe inside of your group? Who controls what is cringe? Are you able to criticize them? Are you sure? Try and actually take them a genuine criticism of their behavior when you think they're not holding up to your own group standards. Try that. See how that conversation goes. This is a humanity problem. It isn't if I'm right about this and whoever's listening, you do fear this. You fear this high level thought control inside of this pressure inside of your own group. That if you show any dissent or criticism, you start to show that you think that we're doing bad behaviors and you try and call it out. There's all of these different horribly negative consequences that we all fear. So this would be, what are the sins for wrongthink? And if we can go to every single group, every single ideological group, and there are sins for wrongthink, I contend you do not and cannot have and maintain a democracy. It is absolutely impossible. A democratic republic based on a constitution requires a high level battle of ideas, social negotiation on complex issues. If you cannot do that and you are not measuring that, whatever level of prosperity and liberty and freedom you have, you will lose it. It is inevitable. You're talking past on everything. And this, instead of the behavior and emotion economy, do very specific things that any sociologist, behavioral scientist should be measuring to go, my society is about to fall apart. Everyone's calling each other narcissists and gaslighting. Like, what are the rates of like all of these different words of like perfect and or phrases like never judge or never seek anyone's validation? And then even here, we can see high level bias inside of the groups of like, you're only supposed to show that you agree with their logic of what they think codependency is, or judgment, or validation. You're never allowed to ever go, actually, I really disagree. Like, I don't think it works like that. Like, I do see your point, and I agree with you. I think that that is a thing that would be codependent. But you're never supposed to depend on anyone? What are you talking about? That is legitimately how every single healthy group, give me a healthy relationship anywhere and you will see dependency because it is important. We are all dependent on each other to help each other fulfill our welfare as much and as great as possible, to give each other things that we want. We are highly dependent upon each other for the praise and criticism. I think we have nothing without this. Like, legitimately. It's through everything, through the lens of everything. And there's a lot of things all through this lens. But one of them is without constructive praise and constructive criticism, you cannot have anything other than some form of a dictatorship. Your society is not on a consistent basis inside of their interpersonal relationships and inside of their political conversations, the town square debates over these different issues that we all care about, that we all are pointing to. they're not giving each other constructive praise. It means they're not validating and showing where they agree with the other people in a good, healthy manner. And then they're also not doing constructive criticism, meaning they don't know how to receive and give said thing. They go, you know what? Constructive criticism, however valid it is, it helps me. I see something. I see faults in myself. I see I need to learn and I need to grow. Our society overwhelmingly today, I believe, sees all forms of criticism as hate, to tear them down with the reasons that we're at this level, that it's just pattern recognition. They're seeing more people when they speak and are giving criticism, they are using it to hate someone. There is anti-Semitic rhetoric. There absolutely is. There is really hateful, racist rhetoric. There, but not, even outside of like these really much higher level things that it seem like when they're really bad behaviors, like even just inside of our own relationships, outside of racism and fascism and all these different things, just how we judge each other, we can see and feel the hatred from the other person. And they even specifically outright say it. We're both screaming it at each other of how much we hate them. Project Soul is a pressure release valve because we're going to finally learn where to place all of the blame together. Because I'm not saying there isn't anything on my shoulders and your shoulders when either one of us does a bad behavior to each other. But it's also nowhere near as simple as each one of our actions are 100% on our shoulders. And there's so much to describe and explain here and to debate on free will versus determinism and many other complicated, deep philosophical topics that are relevant to this topic of how we judge each other. What is right and what is wrong? What is eye for an eye? Is an eye for an eye literally just constantly going, you did a bad behavior to me, so I should do a bad behavior to you? How strong is that force throughout history? How many times can you go, can you please do a fucking goddamn history lesson for whatever it is that you're missing, or just go back to the history that you're very aware of and just go through it? Do you see eye for an eye not constantly happening between different groups of people? You stole for you're constantly doing back end deals, or like even the people at the top, the elite, they're George Carlin says they're all in one club. They're not in one club. They're in several many different clubs, but yes, ultimately against the rest of us, they are essentially just one club. But they're constantly squabbling with one another. Like, no one is getting along, is what I'm trying to say. And they're only getting along because of these extremely social negative pressures. We're not doing it because we're all arriving at truth together and going, oh, like, it was a really good morals and I really like that. And that's happening to some degree. We're at such an incredibly particular time in history. So much data shows that we have been talking past one another for decades. Didn't start yesterday. It didn't start last year. It didn't start 5 years ago. It has been since 1987. And and absolutely things we need to measure before then. But something very key happened then. And then our whole nation started talking past one another incredibly fast to where they're not giving constructive praise and constructive criticism. I'm probably not dealing with my stress good enough. It's really hard. As alone as I am, it's really, really hard to figure out how to deal with the stress. I do pretty good sometimes. Other times, very poorly. How do we judge a person? What does that really look like for us to be judged on paper of who we are? Yeah, that one's really good. I should go shower. Yeah, guess I'll just go do that. What the fuck? Why is this person just adding it? Think I should do another Wim Hof. Push-ups. My God, there's so much to say.